You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop.
This is the
Stale
Popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Pocorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Christopher. Chris, how are you now?
New celebrity.
Ooh.
Steve making the rounds, going on the podcast. How's it feel, big timer?
Oh, yes. Chris is referring to, I was a guest on a podcast from an Australian friend. It's called What's Your Fave Podcast with Danny. Yeah, it was fun. Wouldn't say I'm a celebrity, though, Christopher.
I just did, so don't belittle me. Not on my own podcast, Steve, okay?
We talked Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. That's my favorite movie of all time. We talked about it, had some good times. I'll throw the link down below if you want to take a goose, take a gander. I flexed my Bluey impression.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, take a look if you'd like to. But Chris, we got quite a show for folks. We're going to be talking some big movie news. We're going to be talking Severance and the newest Robert Pattinson movie. Do you mind if I start off with some news, friend?
I do not mind. Let's hear it, Steve.
Chris, did you know the Brits have a whole day dedicated to eating?
No, I did not.
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday. All right.
Harry Potter.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Harry Potter casting, yes. British folks over there across
You know,
the
Chris
pond.
Hemsworth has his own day dedicated to superheroes.
What is it?
Thor's Day.
Ooh, very good. Was that
Thank
off the
you.
dome?
Kind of, yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
All right. Nice. I like it. Anyway, Harry Potter casting. Yes, new HBO movie or HBO show. We got 2 new confirmed castings, Christopher. One for Professor McGonagall, and that role will go to Janet McTeer. I know you don't know the name. She's from Ozark. She's the lawyer lady from Ozark, if you know her.
yes.
Also in the menu. Yep.
She looks like a McGonagall, I'd say.
Mhm. We also have confirmed Severus Snape casting. Do you know who it is, Chris?
Is it Sirius Black? Is it him? Is it the guy?
It is. His name is Papa Isidiu.
Ooh.
Controversial already. The internet's just up in arms. We reported on it a few weeks ago, but it takes a different approach for the casting direction, as he is not traditional to the book description, as Chris subtly hinted at. He is a black man playing Severus Snape. People are up in arms, and I think we talked about it already. We're just like, sure, whatever. You know,
Yeah,
we're
we'll
kind of
see.
indifferent. We're not huge Harry Potter fans.
This will be completely different than the books.
Mm.
I want Harry to die in the first book, all right? Ron Weasley, he's getting molested, all right? We got just take it in a completely different direction.
Sure. It is what it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah, sure.
we'll wait to pass judgment. You know, I think he's a good actor, but that's where it stands as it is
Sure.
now. Moving on, Chris. Amazon.
Yes.
They send you
Prime.
packages.
Yes.
They infiltrate your house with Alexa,
They sure do.
and now they have acquired the rights to James Bond.
Ooh, 007.
Indeed, yes. So it's kind of a 2-part news here. Producers say that Christopher Nolan is their top choice to direct the next James Bond movie. Says, quote, there is a strong mutual desire to make it happen. But Chris, the more I thought about that, I don't know if I like it, if I'm being honest. Just because when I think of James Bond, for me, you know, I think of the fun action sequences of Daniel Craig. You know,
I
him
just think of Daniel Craig getting smacked in the balls. That's all I can.
That's the exact action sequence I was
Yeah,
referring to,
yeah.
Chris. But no, I think Nolan, I don't think he can do action sequences.
Of course, he could do bloody action sequences.
Name 3 action sequences that he's done that were like, that's a good one.
Batman breaking his back from Bane.
It's a
I
bit
mean,
of it's a messy fight. I don't know.
Talia al Ghul's death scene. Okay.
Oh,
we-
breakneck action, pun
Yeah.
intended.
Tenet. There's something, right? There's something there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Dunkirk.
My point being, like, I feel like Christopher Nolan is known for like big outside the box ideas for the most part. Maybe he takes James Bond to space. That'd be fun.
We need some nice twist. They should have M. Night do it.
Ooh, that'd
Can
be
you
fun.
imagine that?
Yeah, James Bond. What if it's still Chris Nolan? He's James Bond running backwards and forwards to something. I don't
Yeah.
know. That'd be fun to
Yeah.
see. Also, another thing with Chris Nolan, he only tends to hire like the same people for the most part.
Oh yeah.
So like short list roster of who's going
Tom
to be
Hardy's
James
the
Bond.
villain. Killian's
Sure.
gonna be James.
Oh, you think?
His love interest is gonna be Talia. What's her name?
Yeah, I forget her name too, but Talia al Ghul. Who could be? You got Matt Damon, which would be awful. Robert Pattinson's another alumni. He might be good.
Well, now he's adding in some. You got the Tom Holland. You got Zendayas. You got the
Chris. You're hurting me.
I think isn't John Bernthal in the new one?
Oh, no, he is. He is.
Hey, I'm a fan of his. Throw him as Bond. Wait.
Wait, no. Does James Bond have to be British, you think?
Probably, but...
Then I throw contention for the ring of Matthew McConaughey.
Isn't Brosnan Scottish?
He's Scottish, you're right. Wait, could you
want
picture...
you want McConaughey?
McConaughey, yeah. All right. I won't take it shaken or stirred. Give me that whole bottle. Put it in the cup for me to sip it like a dog. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we're getting off topic here. Chris Nolan potentially filming a James Bond movie. We'll see. I don't know if I like it. You got any news for me, Chris?
There's one thing you know about me, Steve. I love lists.
Oh, boy.
Especially top 10 lists.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, do I got a top 10 list for you, Steve. We're talking top 10 highest paid actors of 2024.
2024, okay.
And this includes men and women. So take some guesses here, Steve.
I'm trying to think of the movies last year. Is Timmy Chalamet on there? He was in a few big hitters.
No.
Oh, okay.
These are all A-listers.
Okay, A-listers.
These are bringing in the top dollars.
I don't remember anyone. The Rock.
Number one.
The Rock's number one?
$88 million. He was in Red One, and was he even in anything else? You just got that from Red One?
Just one? Goodness gracious. Jenna Ortega, maybe? Is she up there?
No.
Oh.
This is your mother's actors list, okay?
So hunky men?
Well, I mean, it's just like people that have been well established. We're not getting the newcomers, not getting the Tom Hollands, the Timmys.
We got Dennis Quaid.
No, I wish. Raking in that Reagan money.
Reagan money. Yeah. He had to pay to get in that movie.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner. He's doing Yellowstone back to back.
No, Kevin. He should have. He probably spent it all on his movie. But
his Horizon movie, yeah. What is it? I don't know anyone. Sorry.
All right, number 2, we got Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, surely, yes. Okay,
Deadpool
that makes sense.
And nothing else I can think
Those
of.
Mint Mobile commercials.
Yeah. Number 3, Kevin Hart.
I was going to say Kevin Hart, but I couldn't remember a movie he was in last year besides Borderlands, and I thought, surely no, he would not be on that list. But surely yes. Goodness. All right.
I mean, he did the Tom Brady roast. He probably got a good chunk of change for that. I forgot that.
Okay, well, if that's the continuing list, Jack Black's got to be on there somewhere, right?
Ain't no black.
Oh,
of the Jack variety.
Okay.
We got about half of the other variety here.
Oh.
So we got the top 3, and then Kevin Hart, 81 million. Then we got a steep drop off to the next one, 60 million, which you'll never guess this in a million years.
Mm-mm.
What's the deal with Airplane Peanuts?
Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm making sure you're not yanking my chain here, buddy.
I'm not yanking. And I ain't dropping no eaves.
Because I know he was
did that one movie,
the Frosted. Yeah.
Apparently got a good chunk of change.
Well, now we know it's just a front for money laundering.
I know. It sure is.
Goodness. Okay.
The other part of Deadpool, Wolverine.
Oh, Hugh Jackman. That makes sense. Sure, he's earned it.
And we got Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
For what?
They were in that Wolves movie that had like this giant budget. And I'm pretty sure all the money is from that movie. I never seen it. It was one of them Apple TV ones. I think we talked about it in announcements because it went in theaters and like a week later went on digital or something. Like they already said they were doing it.
Okay.
Number 8, Nicole Kidman.
Okay, she was in a couple. Sure.
She was in that Zac Efron one, and she was in that Baby Mama or Baby Driver or something with Antonio Banderas.
Sure.
I never seen it, but my wife saw it. She told me the plot is that she can't get aroused with her husband, Antonio Banderas. And I said, this is the most fictional film I've ever heard. What are you talking here? Number 9, Adam Sandler. And number 10, William Smith.
You said you pronounced Defoe wrong, but I'll let you let it slide. Who's William Smith? Who is that?
Will Smith.
Oh.
Welcome to Earth. Have you forgotten the face of your father here, man?
Oh, man. Yeah. Real fans call him William.
Yeah. Come on. The Electric State.
Yes.
You heard of this? The Netflix.
I have, yes. We were going to watch this week, but I said, nah, let's watch the other thing instead.
Is that out already?
I think it's on Netflix. I think it came out this week, or maybe next week. I think it's next week. I don't know. But it's got Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, right? Russo brothers.
Budget of $320 million.
Chris, that must mean it's a fantastic movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Money
Most
obviously
expensive
correlates with quality.
Netflix film ever. And it debuts with 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. The lowest rated film in the Russo brothers' career. What other films have they done besides Marvel ones?
The Gray Man with Chris
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling.
Uh-huh.
And I think Ana de Armas is in that one. That's the only one that's not a Marvel movie that I can think of off the dome.
They've yet to direct a positively reviewed non-MCU film.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
hey, listen, they found their niche, and
Yeah.
they're going back to Doomsday, right? More Avengers movies, so stick with what works. Joe and Anthony, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know. Listeners, let us know if you want to watch it, if you want us to talk about the Electric State, since it sounds like it's going to be a grand old time. Maybe this year's Borderlands. Who's to say?
Yeah, at least I don't have to leave my home to see it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all the news I got, Steve.
Well, Chris, I got something up my sleeve. Hold on, let me get it for you here real quick.
Glenn's Corner, where I'm sitting in the corner looking at nothing but a picture of Glenn.
Glenn Powell. Is he taking over the Top Gun franchise? Here's what we know. Oh, yeah, well,
Sorry
between
for
you and me, we
interrupting.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah. Says the relationship between Maverick and Bradley Rooster seems to have been mended at the end of Top Gun Maverick, and this could be a notable storyline in Top Gun 3. As for the future storyline of Powell's character Hangman, it seems he could follow in Maverick's footsteps should Cruise's character decide to walk away from the need for speed lifestyle. Perhaps he'll settle down with his longtime interest Penny Benjamin, and played by Jennifer Connelly, and hand the keys over to Powell's Hangman. So speculation is that our good friend Glenn will play a bigger role in Maverick 3, which, we knew that would happen, but
Of course.
there's still no word of when production is going to start or anything like that. But I say, let's do a whole spin-off of Top Gun Hangman lore.
Yeah. Call it Top Glenn.
Ooh, yes, sorry, I had a stroke there.
Yeah, yep.
Top Glenn. I like it, Christopher. Anything Glenn Powell and plane related, I'm there. Except that one with Jonathan Majors that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, the one. It's been on my watch list for years. Eventually, I'll see it, but
eventually. But Chris, I got a question for you. And that question's what you've been watching.
I seen one flick. Meet the Fockers.
You're on a marathon?
I guess slowly but surely. I watched Meet the Parents a couple weeks ago. That's kind of fun. So then I throw on the next one, Meet the Fockers. You seen?
No.
Kind of that definition of average, I'd say. It's some parts are kind of funny, but it's kind of boring, and it's one of those like, what am I doing here? Like it's not like terrible, but it's just really average. I'd probably give it 0. I'm not standing, not booing, sitting.
There's 3 of those movies, aren't there?
I know. We'll see if I'll come back and tell you about the third one, I guess.
Yeah. What's the third one called? Meet the Baby
Parents?
Little.
Kids?
I think it's Little Fockers, right?
Oh, yeah, Little
That's
Fockers.
That's the one. Okay, sure.
But I did actually see part of the Oscars.
Oh?
I'm not a one to sit through the Oscars, but my wife, she was real excited about it because this was like the first time they had there was a Brazil movie nominated for Best Picture. Can't remember what it's called. I'm Here or something.
I'm Still Here?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Also nominated for Best Foreign Film and nominated for Best Actress. Well, apparently in Brazil, it was like a big deal. Like they're all super excited about this. They had their Carnival, and they basically did like a giant live broadcast of kind of like a Times Square. They have the big screens, but they're doing that for the Oscars. She's like, this is going to be the most watched Oscars of all time because Brazil, they're all excited, and they're like, she's going to win. And she's pulling up the odds, the gambling odds. Oh, New York Times says she's going to win Best Actress. And so I sit through it, and it starts at like 7 my time, and it's just so bloody long. There's so many awards, man. I think I stayed up barely enough for it to win Best International. And then Conan O'Brien, he's hosting. He's like, all right, halfway through the show. And I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. I got to go to bed. I can't do this. But
goodness, yeah.
But I ended up losing both of those. And they robbed the movie that won most of them was Anora, which I hadn't seen, but she saw it. She said it was pretty trash. Like, she don't like it. But apparently the critics love it.
I saw a post that movie Anora spent like $18 million in marketing for the Oscars.
Oh, really?
And it got me thinking, because I know like it's a pay to play deal, right? Like, you know, not every year the best movie wins, that's for sure. But it got me thinking, like, what's the point? Like, really, if you're spending $18 million to win an Oscar, what are we doing here?
Think of a sports team. You're paying these athletes millions all just to hold the trophy, you know?
Yeah, but your sports team win on merit for the most part. Well, if the referees play fair, it's a whole other thing for geez. Yeah.
It's all, I mean, there's crooked refs here. We got scandals. Everyone just wants
Everything's rigged.
That hardware.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, like, I was a little upset because I wanted Wild Robot to win.
Oh, yeah.
Animated, but it lost to Flow.
Have you seen Flow?
I haven't, but my wife saw it and she didn't like it, and she loves the animation. Have you seen it?
I saw it, yeah.
Do you like it?
I liked it. I watched it with the kid. She really likes cats, so we had a good time. There's a lot to like about it, but I definitely think Wild Robot's better.
It was like a really small group, and they used some like free program.
Oh, yeah, Blender.
Yeah.
I've used Blender before, yeah.
So, I mean, it's impressive. I haven't seen it, so I can't really hate it. But, I mean, Wild Robot, that should have been it. Dune, I thought, should have won a lot more. I think it only won like 2.
Yeah, I think it's like best
awards.
Visual effects or something.
Yeah, visual and cinematography or something. But that's what I respect about Denny is if he really cares about making a good movie. He doesn't. He's not playing up to the Oscars. If he cared about the Oscars, he would have released it in November, December, but he did it like all the way. It's like February. It was like one of the first movies. Obviously, it's not going to be fresh on people's mind. I'm like, hey, this is a man. He does it for the love of the game. He's not spending 18 mil just to pump up these Oscars here.
Yeah, because anyone who knows his movies knows he's a great director, so he doesn't need the professional accolades of a stupid gold statue of a naked man. Who needs that on their mantle?
Anyways,
yeah.
How about you, Steve? You watch anything?
I did watch a television program, Christopher.
Ooh, what is that?
Severance.
Ants.
Not to be confused with Severance. It's Severance.
So is this
ants
Woody
in an
Allen?
ant farm. Picture this. Woody Allen. Yeah. Did you partake?
I did, of course.
Is this the worst episode of Severance?
It wasn't good. I'm trying. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. It's not. I get why this episode has to happen. It was very slow, even for Severance standards. Not a lot happens. There's some revelations here and there, but it really, I was dozing off. As much as I hate to say it, I was dozing off.
4 total characters, maybe, because you got Cobell, you got her sister,
you got that integral guy in the bus who's huffing that stuff.
Oh
in
yeah,
the background.
You got the waiter. You got the sister on the phone. I guess Mark technically talks on the phone for like a line, but
essentially it's Harmony Cobell's journey since season 1. So we finally caught up to her. She goes back to her hometown called Salt's Neck. Fun name. A really run down, dilapidated, just shack of a town because Lumen established a factory there and then they pulled out. So really just a bunch of old people, old drug addicts and everything's there. She has a reunion with some dude that she used to work with. I guess the biggest revelation we see is that she really hates Lumen down to her core. Whether she blames that because of the death of her mom or, it seemed like she was a child labor worker. But I think the real reason she really hates Lumen is because we find out, Christopher, the big revelation is Harmony Cobell was integral, if not the author of Severance itself.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. Kind of boring, but that was the biggest revelation that we realized. It doesn't explicitly say she made the chip, but she does have a lot to do with Severance, and then maybe that's why in the past Lumen was so hesitant to sever ties with her because she had a lot of information on him. And then at the very end, we see Mark's sister calling her, like I predicted, Chris. I feel like she's going to come back at the 11th hour, and then they're going to take down Lumen. Mark, Ragabi, Cobel, trifecta, going to take him down from the inside. And it's going to be a whole thing. That's my prediction. What do you think?
Well, I predicted last time they're going to work together, and then she's going to backstab him, and then she's going to backstab Lumen. That's still my predict.
Why would she backstab Mark?
She's going to get it back in with Lumen. Hey, what's dead may never die.
And then she's going to be like the new CEO, you think? Like,
But
take
then
over
she's going
everything?
to have a change of heart at the end, and then backstab Lumen.
Triple. She's got 3 hands. Triple
Yes.
backstabbing herself, Mark, Lumen, everyone.
Exactly. Couple questions I have that
Sure.
maybe you can answer. She gets in the mom's room or whatever. She like plugs in some hose thing
Mhm.
and starts huffing. What was that? Do you know what was going on there?
I feel like it was like kind of a creepy connection to her mom because that's where she presumably died, the mother. And she has that breathing tube, which was like her last breath. So she put it to kind of like connect with her mom in a way, as creepy as that is.
She brought the little hose
Yeah.
thing with her just to just like plan it on like, oh, let me suck some of my mom's air here.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty
All right.
weird.
That's kind of weird. All
Yeah,
right.
even for her standards.
Yeah.
Not a great episode. It really has me worried here, Chris, because 2 episodes left. So we really gotta pick up the pace. We gotta,
I know.
we're just gonna be left on another cliffhanger after cliffhanger, and then wait 2 years again.
Yeah, this one I'll say it didn't really leave you on a cliffhanger like normally it's like it ends and you're like, God, couldn't you play 5 more minutes here? And
Yeah.
this one I'm like, all right, that wasn't great.
Agreed. Anyway, Chris, should we move on to the meat and potatoes of this episode?
Yes.
Should we dive in bloody Walt Disney's best creation head first?
Oh, Mickey.
Mickey. Yes.
Look
We're
at
talking
you.
Mickey 17, the newest film from acclaimed director Bong Joon-ho, starring Robert Pattinson, Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, among others, Stephen Huang. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Invincible. Yeun, yes. Apologies. Yes. Glenn, yeah. So we're just going to give a quick little plot breakdown, no spoilers in this section, give some recommendations, and then in the spoilers section, we'll talk about some cons and pros. But Chris, do you mind if I just give a quick plot breakdown for the folks
I don't
here?
mind at all. Let's hear it, buddy.
In the not too distant future. Bloody, we got humans. They're going to a new planet. Got Robert Pattinson. He's an expendable employee. He signed up for a special program that only he can do. He's basically a lab rat. Every time he dies, they upload his consciousness and print out a new body of him. And it retains all of his memories and everything. So if somebody needs a new test for like a suit, or they need to test a virus or a vaccine for him, they just use old Mickey here. We're on the 17th iteration. Mickey 17. That's why they call it Mickey 17, Chris. And they're on the new planet. They've charted into this new planet, and he has to explore and go from there. And this whole story is kind of a little introduction of how that happened to him, as well as the following events that have transpired because these people came to this new planet. Without spoiling much, I know it's based on a book, but I don't know how similar it is to that book. So listeners, if you've seen that book or have read it, let us know how similar it is to it. But Chris, did you like it? What did you think, buddy?
Was this on our anticipated list?
It was, yeah.
movies?
I put it as an A because I was like, I love
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho, I love Snowpiercer, I love Parasite. So I was really excited. But
I was too. And maybe I just had too high expectations. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. To me, it's on par with like The Gorge. Call me crazy here, but it was kind of long and a little boring. Like it starts off and like you're interested with the cloning. It dips into too many different areas where I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of interested in this thing. And then it's like it diverts.
yeah,
And I'm like, this is kind of boring. I think I just kind of had too high expectations.
yeah.
But again, it's not a bad movie. It's interesting. I'll go more into specifics here, but I probably give it like 3 minutes standing up.
Okay.
How about you, Steve?
I don't disagree with you. I think I said a 1 minute standing, maybe 2. But I think it kind of has ADHD a little bit. Like it can't really stay in one lane. Has a hard time juggling a lot of themes and tones. You definitely don't need to go out in the theater and see it. If you're interested, you can stream it. It doesn't live up to his other work.
Is it better than The Gorge?
I had more fun with The Gorge.
I did too.
I hate to say it. Gosh dang it, man. Like,
As not great as that movie is, I was
think
like,
it's probably more expectations because, like, I'm like, the Gorge doesn't look good,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But I'm like, that's kind of fun. And this one, I'm like, kind of like Flight Risk, where you're like, oh, it's a great director. Like, I like all their work pretty much. So I'm sure this is going to be good. And then it's just kind of slightly above average, I'd say.
yeah, I think that's what happened to me too, Chris. Just got too excited, too hyped. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. You want to get in some spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's start with some cons because I got notes. It kind of dips, it crescendos, and then the second half really goes into a different direction that was not interesting, not like the first half. It was a little predictable to me, that second half. They're going to do this, and that's how it's going to end, sure. Whereas the first half, it was like, where's this going? I even thought to myself, this could go any direction.
Exactly.
Turns out I didn't like the direction it went. But so should we spoil kind of the basic what happens afterwards if you want to give a little breakdown?
Basically, Mickey's 17, so he's died up to, and we get to 17 here. He falls, and they assume he's going to die, so they leave him, and these animals come. These creatures that inhabit this world they're on.
They're like giant roly-poly elephant hippo things.
But they actually end up saving the guy. And they're nice to him. Like, they don't talk or anything, but they save him. And so he goes back to the spaceship, but they had already made a Mickey 18. They show throughout the movie that, like, oh, if there is clones, if there's more than one, we got to kill them all. Because basically it had happened before where someone had kind of cloned himself and he had multiple versions and he was a serial killer killing people. And so it was like, hey, if this happens, no matter what, you're killing them. So they got to be a little sneaky here. At first, the Mickey 18, he tries to murder Mickey 17. And you kind of find out that each time he's reprinted, it's like a different part of his personality. So like Mickey 17 is like a nice, kind of like too nice for his own good kind of guy, versus Mickey 18 is like the violent, we should kill this guy. He tries to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, yes.
It goes off. You got Mark Ruffalo as the dictator,
Space
leader of the space. Yeah. You find out he's been testing with Mickey. Their whole plan is they run him through all these tests so they could create this gas that's going to kill all these aliens on the planet so that they can inhabit
colonize.
Right when he's about to do it, Mickey 17 and 18, they're down there and they work with the roly-poly things about, hey, you got your baby on the ship, we'll get him, you could kill the boss here, and ends up working at the end. Mark Ruffalo dies, Mickey 18 blows himself up and also blows him. It ends and they get rid of the whole
printing thing, and he's a happy ever after, and they're living on the planet here. Yeah. I thought it'd be more like Parasite or Snowpiercer, but it ended up being, I don't know if you ever seen Bong Joon-ho's other movie, Okja.
Heard of it? I ain't seen.
It's the big little elephant dog puppy. It's more like that. Whereas I wished it would have had more commentary on like the kindness of humanity, the value of life, no matter how insignificant. Because at the beginning, Stephen Yeun's character is like, hey, Mickey, we'll see you later. Sorry you died. But he doesn't care about Mickey because he's like, you're just going to wake up in a new body anyway. He's very rude about it. And everyone's rude about it. In the first 10 minutes, you see his backstory and nobody cares about Mickey. He's dispensable. He's nothing. So I thought I was going to comment on, no matter how insignificant someone's life may seem, there's value in it. And also I thought it would have explored more of like the sci-fi tech. There's a new version of you that comes out, puts forth a different aspect of your personality more at the forefront. Mickey 18 is super mean. Mickey 17 is more of a meek kind of loner. It had that there in the first half, and then it's like, hey, what if these elephant monster things, huh? We want to do the elephant monster things, the roly-polies. So yeah, it kind of abandons that halfway through. I wasn't a fan. So instead of something deeper, we get, like you said, Mark Ruffalo bloody in his weird veneers wanting to talk terms with this giant hippo monster thing. It's disappointing, I guess. I don't know.
Halfway through, it really just kind of starts falling apart to me. Basically, Mickey 18 is trying to kill Mickey 17, and you're like, oh, this is intense. 5 minutes later, it's like both of them with the girlfriend trying to have like a three-way, and it just like kind of draws out. And I'm just like, all right, this is kind of boring. Like, why do we care about this? There is some other person on the ship has a crush on Mickey 17. Like, can I got 17? And this is like a good 20 minutes. Why are we having this? It was interesting. You just knocked the train off the tracks here. The rest of the movie, I just feel like falls apart. It would have been better if they had more of like a one main story and maybe throw throw in a little small side quest or something, but this one's just like, oh, side quest, this.
I assume this is a graphic novel that has multiple volumes because it feels like that. It feels like there's a lot of irrelevant subplots where they're like, hey, this part of the thing kind of works in with this thing, so we may have to mention it here and there. There's inklings of a full storyline, but they couldn't expand it because of time. But in the source material, there probably is something more significant there. There's a lot of weird things, like Steven, there's a subplot where he's involved with the mob shark or loan shark and the mob, and then like he's scared that someone will get him on the spaceship, and I'm like, that didn't have anything to really do with anything.
Yeah.
There's another plot where Toni Collette's character is like obsessed with sauces, the Mark Ruffalo thing, where there's like too much happening, you know. They've really liked bits and pieces of the source material, I think, and they're like, oh, we got to include this because this parts could be connected to current stuff, you know, and comment on that. But I was like, it should have just been a more concise, smaller story focused on something deeper than just, hey, look how dumb Mark Ruffalo is, you know?
Yeah.
Because the heart of it really is Mickey 17, and in the beginning you're like, oh man, this is good, I like where this is going, and then it just evolves very quickly. So it's a little disappointing to me, Chris. I don't know.
Got a couple pros here.
Shoot, let's talk.
I thought it was pretty funny. Some funny moments. I'd say star of the show is Robert here.
Oh yes,
you can really tell how good of an actor is when you see him like side by side. Obviously it's him acting both people, but it's like they're completely different.
Yeah. Although there was one moment where Mickey's 17 and 18, they're side by side, and something happens to Mark Ruffalo, he gets hurt, and there's a shot of them laughing, and it's the exact same. Like, I think they just copied and pasted because he laughs, like he shrugs his shoulders and tilts his head up and laughs. Yeah. It's the exact same position. It's very quick and funny. You blink and you'll miss a thing. But I agree. Robert Pattinson's definitely the best part of this. He's got some range, buddy. He's putting on a very funny voice that was hard to get used to. But once you did, you're like, okay, this is him now. Have you ever seen the movie The Devil All the Time?
Is that Korean?
It's with Robert Pattinson. There's Tom Holland's in there.
Oh, he's the pasture guy.
Yes, he's the pasture. Yeah. Yes. Sitting out there with the cows. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he plays a pastor, a priest.
Yeah.
And he's got a funny voice kind of like that, where he's like, delusions.
Yeah.
That's a fun movie of Robert Pattinson too. But going back, yeah, definitely the best part. And then it really kind of forgets who's the main character 3/4 of the movie in. So I was disappointed, but he has a lot of good subtleties, and I liked watching his performance both as Mickey 17 and 18. Should have just had him more in the movie. Yeah. Maybe have the main character. Just a thought. I don't know. I like the storytelling in the first half because it shows Mickey 17 in a place, and then it's like, I bet you're wondering how I got here, sort of thing. And it goes back and shows him. I like that sort of non-linear storytelling to kind of paint the whole picture in a non-specific way like that. Parasite does that really well. It really, I hate to say it again, but just halfway through, it just forgoes that kind of storytelling. It just goes in a linear, predictable one. But I guess going back, the first half's great.
Yep.
I also have in my note here, Toni Collette. She's great. She has an ability to make the ugliest faces I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Hereditary? She's in that. She's got a control over her face like Jim Carrey would blush. You know what I mean? And then I also have in my notes, why was he in the pigeon costume?
Yeah. What was that?
The whole time, there's one guy. I don't know if I missed it, but he's just in a pigeon costume the whole movie.
I don't know.
The whole movie. He never takes it off.
I don't know.
Listeners, tell us why he's in the pigeon costume. But that's all I got, Christopher.
So you're saying 1 minute? Is that what you're saying?
I'll give it 2 just because there's 2 Robert Pattinsons in there. How about that?
I think I'm going down to 2. I think Gorge is 1 step above.
It hurts to say, Chris. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
I think we shouldn't do any more, hey, I'm anticipating this movie because we'll get disappointed. Now I'm scared for 28 years later, Chris. Oh, no.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, listeners, if you're listening this far, thanks for having a ball and a fun time with us. If you've seen the movie, let us know what your thoughts are. Comment below. Also,
are we crazy?
Yeah. Are we the idiots in the room?
Have what we've reviewed, I'd say Companion, Gorge, this, right? Unless there's any other good ones we missed.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Still third best of the year, buddy.
Yeah.
Trying to be positive here. Well, yeah, let us know if you agree, disagree.
Yes. If you want to follow us, we're on things. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. That'd be helpful. And also leave a review for us on Spotify and Apple. Give us a 5-star if you feel so inclined. You got to email us. Anything you want, stalepocornpod@gmail.com. That's all I got. Anything else, Chris?
No, that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Have a good week.
Popcorn.
Bye.
Forget about things like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn. popcorn.
This is the
Stale Pocorn.
Popcorn!